Imagine emerging from a psychological fog, the air finally clearing after a prolonged, draining storm. You survived narcissistic abuse, but you are not healed. You are exhausted. Your empathy feels like a curse, and you wonder if you'll ever trust your own heart again. You've heard all the advice about going no contact, but the real battle isn't with the narcissist anymore. It's with the psychological shrapnel left behind inside you. The great Swiss psychologist Carl Jung offers the only roadmap that doesn't just treat the symptoms, but fundamentally transforms the wound into wisdom. He teaches us that the abuse wasn't just a painful event. It was a devastating psychological process designed to force you onto the path of your highest potential. The final stage of the empath's journey is not about forgetting the pain. It is about becoming psychologically invincible by integrating the lessons of the shadow and claiming your true self. This is the ultimate confrontation, moving from being a porous, vulnerable vessel for others' pain to becoming a unified, self-governing individual. We will unlock 4 profound Jungian keys that define this final, sacred stage of recovery. Stay with me, because the first key will expose the deep psychological reason the abuse happened, revealing the exact point where the narcissist first targeted your soul. Key 1. The persona's collapse, reclaiming the lost self. The empath's vulnerability to narcissistic abuse begins not with a flaw, but with a deeply ingrained psychological imbalance rooted in the persona. The persona is the mask we wear for the world, the part of the psyche dedicated to social roles, acceptability, and approval. For the empath, the persona is often overly defined by niceness, harmony, and excessive caretaking. The empath identifies so completely with the role of the helper, the fixer, or the emotional container that they effectively overshoot their persona. This hyperfunctional agreeable mask creates a dangerous boundary where the narcissist finds their entry point. The narcissist, seeking external supply and a vessel for their own unacknowledged chaos, instantly recognizes and exploits this highly predictable, self-sacrificing pattern. The abuse, the constant devaluation, gaslighting, and triangulation, doesn't just hurt, it performs a devastating, albeit unintentional service for the empath. It shatters the false persona. The narcissist systematically attacks the very qualities the empath identified with, their kindness, their loyalty, their rationality, forcing the collapse of the overinvested mask. The shattering of the myth. When the persona shatters, the empath faces a profound crisis. Who am I if I am not the good, self-sacrificing person they told me I was? This is a terrifying experience of psychic disorientation. However, this collapse is the necessary first step toward true healing. The rigid persona had been blocking access to the deeper, truer elements of the personality. The empath must now confront the rejected contents that the persona worked so hard to keep hidden. This rejected material is your own shadow. The shadow, in this context, contains all the natural human instincts that were suppressed in favor of the hyper-agreeable persona. Healthy aggression, the capacity to say no, to fight back, and to defend one's boundaries. Selfish needs, the right to prioritize one's own rest, desires, and emotional safety. Discernment and judgment, the capacity for cold, objective appraisal of others' motives, unclouded by pity or forgiveness. The negative thoughts that plague the empath in recovery, the self-blame, the shame, the inability to move on, are often the voice of the unintegrated shadow retaliating against the collapsed persona. The shadow is saying, I warned you this would happen because you never listened to my instinct for self-preservation. Reclaiming the lost energy. The final stage of this phase is not about fighting these feelings. It's about reclaiming the energy trapped within the collapse. The empath must consciously accept and integrate the shadow's darker traits. This is not about becoming a narcissist. It's about becoming whole. The empath needs to embrace the wounded healer archetype, recognizing that their capacity to heal others is contingent upon their capacity to fiercely protect and heal themselves. They must deliberately cultivate the ability to set boundaries with the ruthless clarity of a soldier, not the hesitant kindness of a victim. This act of reintegrating the shadow's aggression and selfishness transforms the empath from an emotionally porous being into a psychologically sovereign individual. The crisis of the persona's collapse, therefore, becomes the crucible for the birth of a stronger, more authentic self. The narcissistic abuser doesn't just target the empath's social mask. They attack the empath's capacity for self-worth, objective judgment, and relational autonomy. In Jungian terms, this is an attack on the unintegrated anima, the feminine principle in men, or animus, the masculine principle in women. The final stage of healing requires the empath to reclaim and integrate these powerful inner figures. The narcissist's exploitation of the unintegrated archetype. For many empaths, the abuse hits so hard because they unconsciously project their unintegrated anima or animus onto the narcissist. The empath's deficit. The empath, overly focused on feeling and connection, the persona's demand for harmony, often represses the traits of their contrasexual archetype. In women, repressing the animus. The empath suppresses her animus, objective thought, decisive action, rational structure. She relies on the external partner, the narcissist, to provide clarity, validation, and control. She ignores her own objective judgment to maintain the relationship. In men, repressing the anima. The empath suppresses his anima, emotional depth, relational insight, intuition about safety. He avoids his own feelings and is unable to trust his gut. He projects the ideal of emotional depth onto the narcissist, mistaking the narcissist's intense, chaotic feelings for genuine passion or intimacy. The narcissist's bait. The narcissist is often an exaggerated false embodiment of the empath's unintegrated archetype, e.g., falsely decisive and powerful, or falsely deep and emotional. This hook is devastating, because the empath is unconsciously seeking completeness through the narcissist, allowing the abuser to become the perceived source of self-worth. The final stage, withdrawing the projection. The key to healing is withdrawing the projection. This means recognizing that the qualities of strength, security, and emotional stability that the empath desperately sought in the narcissist already reside within themselves. For the empath, with a weak animus, the task is to consciously cultivate objective thought. She must stop seeking emotional consensus and start demanding factual reality. This involves deliberately training herself to trust her own clear, rational analysis of the narcissist's behavior, saying, "My rational assessment, animus, is more valid than my feeling of obligation, persona." This creates the inner structure necessary for firm boundaries. For the empath with a weak anima, the task is to cultivate genuine feeling and intuition. He must learn to trust his emotional radar, listening to his gut feelings of dread or uneasiness about the narcissist, instead of rationalizing the abuse. This reclaims the emotional autonomy necessary to know, without external validation, I am safe, and this relationship is toxic. Developing the inner critic into the inner guide. During the abuse aftermath, the empath is plagued by the negative thoughts of the critical inner voice. This voice often sounds like the narcissist's gaslighting, "It was your fault," or "You're too sensitive." Jungian psychology reframes this voice as the distorted animus, anima. The final stage requires the empath to enter into a dialogue with this critical voice, not to silence it, but to re-educate it. Instead of letting the critical voice, distorted animus, attack her worth, the empath uses its energy for objective self-assessment. I made a mistake in trusting, but my worth is not defined by their abuse. Instead of letting the confusing emotions, distorted anima, paralyze him, the empath uses its energy to define his needs. This overwhelming emotion is a signal that I need safety and rest, and I will honor that need now. This inner marriage of feeling and reason, of compassion and objective clarity, solidifies the empath's inner boundaries. They become emotionally and psychologically self-sourced, closing the hole that the narcissist exploited and achieving autonomy. The healing is complete when the empath can look at the narcissist and see not a source of pain or a lost love, but merely a human being who once served as a painful, necessary catalyst for their own deeper self-realization. The narcissistic abuse was intensely personal, but the final stage of the empath's journey involves realizing the pain was also universal. Carl Jung believed that beneath the personal unconscious lies the collective unconscious, a repository of shared human experience and mythic patterns. For the empath, healing is complete when the personal trauma is reframed as a mythic wound, transforming a victim narrative into a hero's journey. Reframing the narcissist as the adversary archetype. When the empath remains stuck in the personal narrative, why did they do this to me? They remain energetically tied to the narcissist.
The final stage is to elevate the narcissist from a personal tormentor to the archetypal adversary, or the dragon. In every mythological cycle, the hero's journey, the hero must confront a powerful dark force that embodies chaos, illusion, and destruction. The narcissist, with their reliance on illusion and their chaotic lack of core identity, served as this necessary archetypal adversary.
Their purpose, psychically speaking, was not to destroy the empath, but to forge the empath's soul by forcing them to develop the qualities they lacked: boundaries, ruthlessness, self-sovereignty. By reframing the experience through the lens of myth, the empath gains distance and dignity. The pain becomes purpose. The empath's suffering is no longer meaningless personal misery. It is the trial by fire required for the emergence of the true self. The narcissist becomes a tool. The abuser is reduced from an all-powerful emotional manipulator to a symbolic obstacle that the empath has successfully overcome. This robs the abuser of their lingering psychological control. The emergence of the wounded healer. Archetype. The deepest truth the empath accesses in this final stage is the integration of the wounded healer archetype. The wounded healer is someone who has descended into their own depths of suffering, faced their deepest wounds, and emerged with the wisdom and compassion necessary to guide others. The empath's gift of empathy was exploited because it was unconscious. They felt the pain without understanding its mechanism or its boundaries. The wounded healer transforms this unconscious gift into a conscious ethical skill. Before abuse, unconscious empathy. The empath unconsciously absorbed pain, confusing the suffering of others with their own responsibility to fix it. After integration, conscious empathy. The empath connects to the suffering of others with clear boundaries, understanding that their role is to illuminate, not to absorb. They use their own experience as a map to guide others, not as a reason to fall back into the victim role. The immense pain of the narcissistic abuse is transmuted into a source of wisdom and authority. The empath no longer regrets the abuse. They recognize it was the catalyst that activated this powerful, healing archetype within them. Restoring the mythic feminine-masculine abuse often damages the empath's ability to trust their core gender identity. The feminine may feel devalued, and the masculine may feel weak. The final stage of recovery is an archetypal restoration, reclaiming the deep feminine. The empath, regardless of biological sex, reclaims the great mother archetype, not as a source of endless passive nourishment, but as a figure of fierce protective strength. This integrates the ability to nurture self first. Reclaiming the spiritual masculine. The empath reclaims the wise old man hero archetype, embodying spiritual courage and ethical objectivity. This allows the empath to use clear, sharp judgment to cut ties with anything that threatens their peace, without emotional guilt. By accessing these powerful universal images from the collective unconscious, the empath transcends the limitations of their personal story. They realize that the final stage of the empath's journey after narcissistic abuse is the emergence of the self. This is the highest archetype in Jungian psychology, the central organizing principle of the entire personality. It is the core that achieves true wholeness, individuation, rendering the emotional hooks of past abuse permanently irrelevant. The abusive experience, having broken down the false persona, cleared the way for the true self to finally lead. The ego's shift, from victimhood to sovereignty. Throughout the abuse and the initial recovery, The empath's ego was fixated on the narcissist and the past pain. The final stage requires the ego, the center of consciousness, to humbly accept that it is not the master of the house, it is the servant of the self. Before, the ego defined itself by the external relationship. I am the victim of their control. After, the ego redefines its role based on internal authenticity. I am the sovereign executive of my own soul, responsible only to my inner compass, the self. This shift is crucial because the self is invulnerable to external manipulation. The self is whole and requires no external validation or supply. When the empath is aligned with the self, the old negative thoughts, the shame, the self-blame, the need for closure, have no emotional grip because the ego is no longer listening to the external noise. It is focused on the inner signal of wholeness. The manifestation of the integrated archetypes. The self emerges as the synthesis of all the previously integrated figures. The empath's final state of sovereignty is a composite of balanced energies. The integrated shadow provides the fierce boundaries and the ability to decisively cut ties without debilitating guilt. This is the spiritual warrior necessary for self-protection. The integrated anima or animus provides inner clarity. The empath can now access objective truth, animus, while also honoring their emotional needs, anima. Decisions are made from a place of inner certainty, making gaslighting and manipulation impossible. The wounded healer transforms the trauma into wisdom, giving the empath a unique authority and compassion that is grounded in personal experience, not porous sympathy. The narcissist targeted a fragmented personality. The person who emerges is psychologically unified. Synchronicity, the reward of alignment. As the ego aligns with the self, the individual begins to experience profound synchronicity. Jung defined synchronicity as the meaningful coincidence of an inner state with an outer event. This is the universe confirming that the empath is now living in alignment with their deepest truth. When the empath truly lets go of the resentment, inner change, they suddenly receive an unexpected opportunity or meet a supportive, authentic friend, outer event. The narcissist fades from conscious thought, and the universe provides clear signs, a helpful book title, a timely conversation, that validate the path of self-sovereignty. These experiences reinforce the new reality. The empath no longer needs to control or manipulate their external environment because their inner world is generating meaning and order. This sense of profound alignment is the permanent cure for the anxiety and obsessive thinking that abuse leaves behind. The fear and negativity are forgotten because they are replaced by the constant, undeniable affirmation of one's own authentic life. The final message. The empath's journey through narcissistic abuse, viewed through the lens of Carl Jung, is a dramatic and sacred story of self-discovery. The abuse was not a detour. It was the intense, painful pressure required to activate the most essential parts of the empath's psyche. The narcissist served as the dark catalyst, forcing the empath to discard the false self and retrieve the hidden gold of the shadow and the anima, animus. The final stage is the reward, a life lived from the unshakable sovereign center of the self. You have moved beyond surviving. You are now thriving with a wisdom and strength that the narcissist, trapped in their own fragmentation, could never possess or steal. If this